Scout.com, Sam Hellman here with national recruiting analyst Brian Doan. We're talking West Virginia. The Mountaineers are 3-5 right now and struggling a little bit. There's coaching stability questions. How do you see things like that playing into their recruiting process right now?
Well, it's interesting because if you look at West Virginia, and yeah, they're 3-5 like you mentioned, they're not giving up the 9,000 points a game that they were last year, so there's been progress made there. But you're also going to be in a dogfight for a bowl game. There's talk of Oliver Luck, the athletic director, leaving, going to Texas. How does that impact Dana Holgorsen, the head coach? The biggest thing when you're talking about coaching changes and whether it impacts recruiting, everybody you talk to, Dana Holgorsen has a double-digit buyout. You know, if they fire him, you're talking 11 million, 10 million, whatever it is. Man, I know West Virginia's getting more money to go into the Big 12 and everything, but it's an awful lot of money for West Virginia to pay out, and I think that's going to be an issue, and I think it helps recruiting, and it helps with keeping the class intact, and it helps with stability. Recruits aren't really talking about if there's going to be an issue with West Virginia's coaching staff. They're not really, that hasn't come into play
West Virginia
yet.
Continues to try and recruit hard within its region despite traveling a lot more in the Big 12. But Western Pennsylvania is a hot spot right now for the Mountaineers. What do you see out in that area?
Well, there's two kids on the list right now that everybody from West Virginia is paying attention to. Monte Nicholson from Gateway, the 4-star safety, and Drayvon Henry, the 4-star cornerback out of Aliquippa. I think first we'll start off with Monte Nicholson, and one of the big concerns is the charge that Michigan State's made on him. He made an official visit there. He's supposed to return this weekend if he feels up to it. He's kind of been all over the place with visits and everything. He was at Oregon last week. He's been to Florida State. He's officialed to Pitt, Michigan State. You got to believe he's going to official to West Virginia as well. But there's going to be some ground to be made up there. But they have playing time to offer in the secondary. And then there's Drayvon Henry out of Aliquippa, cornerback safety. He could play either one. West Virginia's talking corner, could move him over to safety, which he'd be happy with as well. He was just down there earlier this month, had a great visit with some teammates. And the thing with Drayvon is, it was Pittsburgh, Ohio State, West Virginia, Alabama. I don't think Ohio State's going to have room for him right now. I think Pittsburgh is real competition for him. Alabama, if Alabama wants him, Alabama will probably get him. But right now I think it's a West Virginia-Pittsburgh kind of battle. And I think, if I had to pick right now, I'd go with West Virginia, but a lot can change between now and signing day with Drayvon.
And then also with West Virginia at the defensive end position, they're recruiting New Jersey right now. Montclair defensive end Darius Slade. He's visited campus before. He knows Marcel Lassard pretty well. What do you see with Darius Slade when it comes to the Mountaineers?
Yeah, it's a good point you bring up with Lassard because they know each other from playing against each other in high schools up in North Jersey. And that's always Darius's reference point when you're talking about West Virginia. Is he starts to talk about Marcel and how if Marcel can go there, he can go there. Darius, it's tough because Rutgers is a half hour from his high school. He grew up in Delaware, so he doesn't have the allegiance to New Jersey as a state and the state school. You look at Michigan State, he tripped there. He had a great visit out there. He's going to visit Nebraska, which is a big thing. A Jersey kid going to visit Nebraska, they always get excited for. But I think West Virginia, if they can knock his socks off during an official visit and explain how he can play early and get playing time in that defense and how they can use him outside linebacker, also D-end, and kind of move him all over, I think that really intrigues him. And for some reason, I know that, look, he had a great time at Michigan State, like I said. For some reason, I think this could come down to a West Virginia-Rutgers battle.
Well, that's national recruiting analyst Brian Doan giving you the latest on West Virginia Mountaineers recruiting.